Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Happy Sri Rama Navami. May Mother Sita and Lord Rama bless all of you with wonderful opportunities to serve them. Lord Rama is the avatar of the Supreme Lord who descended to this earth in Treta Yuga as the resplendent son of King Dasaratha and Mother Kaushalya. In his 11,000 years as a lord of the entire world, he enacted many loving pastimes with his devotees, re-established the principles of dharma, and annihilated many miscreants who were the demoniac descendants of sage Pulastya. Sri Rama Navami is the auspicious day when the Lord appeared on this earth. The purpose of this file is to help the devotees understand the circumstances of the birth of the Lord. This is taken from Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Khanda, chapters 8 to 18. King Dasaratha craves for a son. The opulent kingdom Ayodhya was established by the mighty king Ikshvaku, the grandson of Vivaswan, the demigod of sun. His descendant was the saintly, righteous and powerful king Dasaratha. Despite being surrounded by riches and comfort, the king was extremely sad because he had no children. Knowing that he had to purify himself of all sins, he took the permission of his guru sage Vasishtha and other saints to perform the Ashvamedha yajna or the horse sacrifice. His wise minister Sumantra recited the prediction of sage Sanat Kumara that the great sage Rishi Rishyashringa, the son-in-law of King Dasaratha's friend King Romapada, will help King Dasaratha beget sons. Sage Sanat Kumara even foretold that King Dasaratha will have 4 mighty and resplendent sons who will be known for their valor, who will enrich the dynasty's reputation, and who will be renowned among all living beings. After listening to the pleasant words of his wise minister, King Dasaratha and his vast retinue went to the kingdom of Anga to visit King Romapada, his daughter Shanta, and his mighty son-in-law, sage Rishyashringa. At King Dasaratha's request, Shanta and sage Rishyashringa came to Ayodhya amidst great honor, pomp, and ceremony. After a very long time, when an exceptionally pleasant spring arrived, the king requested the stage to start the sacrifice. Ashvamedha sacrifice. The sacrificial arena was set up on the northern shores of river Sarayu. The sacrificial horse was set free. Outstanding sages and priests such as Suryagnya, Vamadeva, Jabali, Kashyapa, Purohita, Vasishtha presided over the sacrifice. For an entire year, they conducted the initial propitiatory rites such as peace prayers according to the scriptural regulations. In the spring of next year, sage Vasishtha addressed the senior practitioners of the sacrifice and their assistants such as the skilled brahmanas, architects, masons, carpenters and astrologers, and asked them to arrange for the Ashvamedha sacrifice by building palaces, all kinds of palatable drinks and food, and other chores. He asked them never to do anything disrespectful out of anger or lust. Vasishtha then asked Sumantra to invite great kings of the world, such as King Janaka of Mithila, King Romapada, and the kings of Kashi, Kekeya, Koshala, Magadha, and other rulers of the east and west. Few days later, all the eminent invitees arrived and were respectfully welcomed by King Dasaratha. On an auspicious day, King Dasaratha and his wives went to the sacrificial arena and underwent the initiation ceremony. By this time, the sacrificial horse returned. The Brahmanas performed various rites according to scripture. With sweet songs of praise, the priests invoked the appropriate demigods who reside in the heavenly realm and offered them their due share of the oblations of clarified butter. Everybody was taken care of. They praised the munificence of King Dasaratha. Soon the time arrived for erecting the sacrificial posts. They erected beautifully decorated wooden posts made of bilva, khadira, palasha, shleshmata and cedar woods. The sacrificial altar was shaped like an eagle with wings outstretched. Its wings were golden colored. Being thrice the size of ordinary altars, it had 18 fire pits instead of the usual 6. The excellent horse was brought to the post. Queen Kaushalya consecrated the horse, touched it with a sword thrice, and with a calm mind spent some time with the horse. After that, the Hota, Advaryu, and the Udgata priests took Kaushalya and the other 2 main wives of the king and made them touch the horse. Then the priest took the fleshy tuber of the Ashvamedha plant, which smells like a horse, and boiled it according to the scriptural directions. The king then smelled at the proper time the odor of the steam rising from that tuber, thus driving away his sins. Many other sacrifices were also performed according to scriptural recommendations. 8 sacrifices were performed on that occasion. Jyotishtoma, Ayushtoma, 2 Atiratras, Abhijit, Vishwajit, and 2 Aptoryamas. King Dasaratha donated to the Hota priest the eastern region, to the Advaryu priest the western region, to the Brahma priest the southern region, and to the Udgata priest the northern region. Thus he distributed the entire earth to the priests. The priests gave the kingdom back to the king. Later, the king presented the Brahmanas with 1 million cows, 100 million gold coins, and 4 times that of silver coins. Thereafter, the priests gave all the wealth to the sage Rishi Rishyashringa and to the wise Vasishtha. When the wealth had been equally divided, the topmost Brahmanas were pleased in mind and declared, "We are very satisfied." The king was thoroughly delighted to have completed the wonderful sacrifice, which destroys all sins, leads to heaven, and is very difficult to be performed even by great kings. Then King Dasaratha said to sage Rishi Rishyashringa, "O powerful ascetic, you should now ensure the prolongation of my dynasty." "So be it," said the best of Brahmanas to the king. "In the future, O king, you will have 4 sons who will continue your dynasty." After that, the intelligent sage contemplated the king's request for some time and said, "In order to obtain a son, we must perform the Putreshti sacrifice with prayers from the Atharvaveda." Then the powerful sage performed the sacrifice for attaining offspring by offering oblations unto the sacred fire in accordance with the directions of the scriptures. At the end, the demigods, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and the topmost sages assembled to receive their portions of the sacrifice. The promise of Lord Vishnu. Later, all the Devatas approached Lord Brahma, the creator, in one group according to rank, and they spoke to him the following words. "O Lord, the inimical and evil-minded Ravana is harassing the 3 worlds and hates the exalted. He wants to overpower Indra, the king of heaven. Infatuated by his boon and unassailable because of it, he is attempting to subdue the seers, yakshas, gandharvas, brahmanas, and asuras. O Lord, please make some arrangement to kill him." Then Lord Brahma said, "My dear Devatas, I know how Ravana can be defeated. The Rakshasa did not consider human beings in his request due to his contempt for them. Therefore, he can only be killed by a human. No one else can be the cause of his death." Hearing the pleasant words of Lord Brahma, all the Devatas and great sages became very joyful. Sage Valmiki very beautifully describes the arrival of Lord Vishnu at this time. "Etasmin anantare Vishnu upayato mahadyuti shanka chakra gadapani pitavasa jagatpati vainateyam samaruhya bhaskara toyadam yatha tapta hataka keyuro vandyamana surotamai." At that time arrived the Lord of the universe, Vishnu, who is highly effulgent, bearing in his four hands a conch shell, discus, mace, and bow, and wearing bright yellow silken garments. He was mounted on his eagle carrier Garuda like the sun on a cloud. He wore armlets of refined gold and was being praised by the foremost of Devatas. Seeing Lord Brahma, he stood there tranquilly. Having praised the Lord and bowing down, all the Devatas addressed him. O Lord Vishnu, with the intent of doing good to the world, we are going to request you with a task. In Ayodhya, there is a powerful king of the name Dasaratha. He is the knower of righteousness, is magnanimous, and is equal in splendor to a great sage. From the womb of his three wives, who are equal to your own consorts, Hri, Shri, and Kirti, O Lord, manifest yourself as his four sons. Assuming a human-like form, O Lord Vishnu, please kill in battle Ravana, who has become powerful, is the scourge of the world, and cannot be killed even by Devatas. You are the supreme destination for all of us, O destroyer of foes. Please descend to the world of men to kill the enemy of the Devatas. The kind Lord Vishnu said, Bhayam tyajatam bhadram vo. Discard your fear, let safety be upon you. For your benefit, I shall fight Ravana. After killing his sons, grandsons, counselors, ministers, kinsmen, and relatives, I shall slay the cruel, unassailable, and fearsome demon Ravana. For 11,000 years I shall remain in the mortal world to protect the earth. Having thus granted that boon to the Devatas, the Supreme Lord Vishnu began to contemplate his future birthplace. Then the lotus-eyed Lord divided himself into four and chose King Dasaratha as his would-be father. Then the Lord asked the Devatas, By resorting to what means, O Devatas, can I slay the king of Rakshasas who is harassing the sages? Being thus questioned, all the Devatas replied to the eternal Lord Vishnu, O Lord, assuming a human-like form, please slay Ravana in combat. Having received a boon from Brahma, he has grown extremely conceited. He is afflicting the three worlds and is abducting women. Therefore, O subduer of foes, he must be killed by a human. Hearing these words of the Devatas, the Supreme Lord Vishnu desired King Dasaratha to be his father. At that time, the childless king, who was very effulgent, being desirous of a son, was performing a sacrifice for that very purpose. Having made up his mind, Lord Vishnu, taking leave of Lord Brahma, disappeared as he was being worshipped by the Devatas and the sages. Right after that, from the sacrificial fire of King Dasaratha appeared a huge being of unequaled splendor, possessing great prowess and strength. His complexion was swarthy, he wore reddish garments, his countenance was ruddy, and his voice resounded like a drum. The hair on his body, beard, and head was soft like a lion's. He was endowed with auspicious marks and decorated with celestial gems. He was as tall as a mountain peak and strode like a proud tiger. His form was as brilliant as the sun. He shone like a flame of fire. In his arms he held, as one would hold one's own dear wife, a large gold jar full of celestial milky rice pudding covered with a silver lid, as if it were some magical thing. Looking at King Dasaratha, he spoke the following words. Know me, O king, to be the messenger of the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, who has come here. Thereupon the king replied to him with folded hands, I welcome you. What may I do for you? The messenger of Lord Vishnu then spoke these words. O king, by worship has this reward been achieved by you today. O tiger amongst kings, accept this rice pudding made by the Devas, which can not only procure a son but can also increase wealth and good health. Give it to your appropriate wives and tell them to eat it. From then you will obtain sons, for which purpose you have been performing the sacrifice, O great king. The king joyfully accepted it with his head lowered and said, So be it. He accepted that golden pot filled with spiritual foodstuff given by the Lord. He saluted that wonderful being of pleasing appearance and with great delight circumambulated him. After receiving the rice pudding prepared by the Devatas from Vishnu's messenger, King Dasaratha became as joyful as a pauper on obtaining wealth. Then the wonderful Yajna disappeared. The king went to his queen's chambers and divided the pudding in this way. Kaushalyaye narapati payasa ardham dadau tada ardhat ardham dadau chapi saumitraye naradhipa Kaikeyi cha avashishta ardham dadau putrartha karanat pradadau cha avashishta ardham payasasya amrita upamam Anuchintya Saumitrai Punah Cha Eva Mahapati Evam Tasam Dadau Raja Bharyanam Payasam Pratak. Then the king gave to Kaushalya 1/2 of the rice pudding, and to Sumitra he gave 1/2 of what was left. For obtaining a son, he gave 1/2 of what was left to Kaikeyi. And after thinking for a while, the highly intelligent king gave to Sumitra the remaining portion of the rice pudding, which was equal to immortal nectar. In this way, the king distributed the rice pudding to his different queens. When the king's noble wives received the rice pudding, they became overwhelmed with joy. After the king's consorts separately ate the rice pudding, they could feel before long the presence of babies within their wombs, whose splendor equaled the fire or the sun. Seeing that his wives were pregnant and that his desire was to be fulfilled very soon, the king felt very happy. At that time, he was worshipped by even Indra, the Siddhas, and the sages. The Devatas as Vanaras. When Lord Vishnu manifested himself as the sons of King Dasaratha, the self-born Lord Brahma said to the Devatas, Lord Vishnu is true to his promise, valiant and our well-wisher. Procreate soldiers and assistants for him with forms which they can change at will. They should be conversant with magical spells, brave, swift as the wind in speed, conversant in politics, endowed with intelligence, indestructible, conversant with devices, endowed with supernatural bodies, knowledgeable about all types of weapons, and like the Devatas who can partake of the nectar of immortality. I have already begotten Jambavan, the chief of bears, from my mouth. Having been thus instructed by Brahma, they accepted his command and begot sons in the form of monkeys. The great souls, seers, siddhas, vidyadharas, nagas, and charanas begot heroic sons as forest creatures. Lord Indra begot Vali, the lord of monkeys, who was like Indra himself. The sun, which is the best of heat generators, begot Sugriva. Brihaspati begot the great monkey named Tara, the most intelligent of all the monkey chiefs. The glorious monkey Gandhamadana was born as the son of Kubera, the giver of wealth. Vishwakarma begot a great monkey named Nala. Agni's son was the glorious Nila. The two Ashwini Kumars, endowed with the wealth of physical beauty, personally begot Mainda and Dvivida. Varuna begot the monkey named Sushena. The mighty Parajanya begot Sharabha. Then Valmiki introduced the great Bhakta Hanuman. Maratasya aurasya Shriman Hanuman nama Vanaraha Vajra samhananopeto Vainataya samah jave Sarva Vanara mukheshu Buddhiman Badlavan api. From the Devata Vayu was born the glorious monkey named Hanuman, whose body is as strong as a thunderbolt and is equal to Garuda in speed. He is the most intelligent and strongest of all various monkeys. In this way, the Devatas gave birth to many thousands of monkeys prepared to kill the 10-headed demon Ravana. They had immeasurable strength, were heroic, outstanding, and able to assume any form at will. They all had claws and teeth as weapons and were skilled in the use of various arms. They could shake great mountains and split standing trees. By their swift movement, they could agitate the ocean, who is the lord of rivers. They could rend the earth with their feet and jump across great oceans. They could enter into the sky and even catch a cloud. The earth was covered by these mighty leaders of monkey chiefs who resembled masses of clouds or mountain peaks. They had fearsome bodily appearances and had taken birth to serve Lord Rama. The glorious birth of Lord Rama, Bharatha, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. When the horse sacrifice and the sacrifice for procuring a son were concluded, the Devatas took their share of the offerings and departed as they came. Having completed the period of consecration, accompanied by his wives, King Dasaratha entered the city with his servants and soldiers. Having been appropriately honored by the king, the monarchs of the world were satisfied and, offering respects to the great sage Rishi Rishyashringa, returned to their own lands. Being properly honored and followed by the wise king and his entourage, Rishi Rishyashringa departed with his wife Shanta. Sending them all away in this manner and completely achieving his desired goal, the king happily resided in Ayodhya while thinking about the birth of his sons. After the sacrifice had been completed, 1 year elapsed. Then, in the 12th month, called Chaitra, on the 9th day, when the asterism Punarvasu was in the ascendant, the 5 planets, Sun, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus were exalted, and Jupiter and the moon were in the sign of Cancer. The Lord of the universe, who is worshipped in all the worlds, appeared from the womb of Kaushalya as Lord Rama, possessing divine marks. Her son was manifested from the half portion of the rice pudding given by Lord Vishnu. He is the most fortunate son of the Ikshvaku dynasty. His eyes are reddish, his arms are strong, his lips are rosy red. His voice is like the sound of a drum. Kaushalya shone with immeasurable splendor of her son like Aditi with her son Indra, the lord of the Devatas, who carries a thunderbolt in his hand. The Sanskrit shlokas are Tato yagne samapte tu ritunam shata samatyayuh tata cha dvadashe mase chaitre navamike tithau Nakshatre aditi daivatye sva uchcha samsteshu panchasu graheshu karkate lagne vakpata induna saha Prodyamane jagannatham sarvaloka namaskritam Kaushalya ajanayat Ramam sarva lakshana samyutam Vishnu ardam mahabhagam putram aikshvaku nandanam lohitaksham mahabahum rakta oshtam dundhvi svanam. To Kaikeyi was born a son of true prowess named Bharatha. He was born when the constellation Pushya was in the ascendant and the sun was in Pisces. Being produced from the quarter portion of the rice pudding, he was endowed with all the transcendental qualities of Lord Vishnu himself. Then Sumitra gave birth to 2 sons, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. They were valorous, expert in all weaponry, and endowed with 1/4 and 1/8 of the qualities of Lord Vishnu. The two sons of Sumitra were born when the constellation Ashleshya was in the ascendant and the sun was in Cancer. The four great-souled sons of the king were born separately. They were endowed with all good qualities and they resembled one another. In splendor, they were equal to the four stars of the constellation Bhadrapada. The Gandharvas sang sweetly and the groups of Apsaras danced. Celestial drums resounded and showers of flowers fell from the sky. There was a great celebration in the city of Ayodhya by the people. In the streets crowded with the people were troops of actors and dancers. The broad streets echoed with the sounds of singers, musicians, and other people and was strewn with all kinds of precious gems. The king presented many worthy gifts to the bards and the ballad singers and gave riches and thousands of cows to the brahmanas. He then performed the name-giving ceremonies for his sons on the 11th day after their births. Sage Vashishta named the four resplendent sons as follows. Jeshtam Ramam Mahatmanam Bharatam Kaikeyi Sutam Saumitrim Lakshmanamiti Shatrughnam Aparam Tata. The sage Vashishta was pleased to name the eldest son Rama, Kaikeyi's son he named Bharatha, and Sumitra's two sons he named Lakshmana and Shatrughna. The king fed the brahmanas, the townspeople, and also the residents of the nation, and gave many mounds of brilliant jewels to the brahmanas. He had all his children's sacraments performed, beginning with the birth ceremony. The eldest of them was outstanding like a flag and was most dear to his father. Everyone considered him to be just like Swayambhuva Manu. All four sons were conversant with the scriptures, heroic, and engaged in the welfare of the world. They were all endowed with knowledge and adorned with all good qualities. Among them, however, Rama was the greatest and of unfailing prowess. He was loved by everyone, even like the spotless moon. He greatly enjoyed riding on the backs of elephants and horses and was skilled at driving chariots. He delighted in the study of archery and was devoted to serving his father. From his childhood, Lakshmana, the increaser of wealth, was always very affectionate towards his elder brother Rama, the joy of the world, and served him bodily. Lakshmana was endowed with good fortune and was like another life force of Rama outside of himself. Without him, that excellent Rama would not sleep. Without him, he would not eat even tasty dishes when brought forward. Whenever Rama, the descendant of the Raghu dynasty, went out on horseback, Lakshmana would follow behind him with his bows and arrows and protect him. Lakshmana's younger brother Shatrughna was to Bharatha always dearer than life itself, and Bharatha was equally dear to Shatrughna. King Dasaratha was extremely pleased with his four highly fortunate sons, as Brahma is with the Devatas who guard the four directions, Indra, Varuna, Yama, and Kubera. All four sons were adorned with all good qualities. They were glorious, omniscient, and were far-sighted. King Dasaratha, the father of all of them, who were potent and as bright as lambs, was as happy as Brahma, the ruler of the universe. Those tigers among men were also devoted to Vedic studies. They were devoted to the service of their father and expert in the science of archery. This concludes the end of the recital of the birth of the Lord and his brothers. The next part of the 18th chapter of Bala Khanda introduces sage Vishwamitra and then consequently the glorious recital of the marriage of Mother Sita and Lord Rama. Mangalam Koshalendraya Mahaniya Gunabdeye Chakravarti Dhanurjaya Sarva Bhaumaya Mangalam. Jai Sita Ram.